Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I'm John Burt. I want to thank you for joining me today. And today we have a very exciting show because this is going to be a debut of our Skype program that we have here. And our first guest is Kimberly Morin from the Women's Defense League. And she is on Skype with us. And yep, there she is. Hey, Kimberly, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're the first Skype into New Hampshire Politics with John Burt.
Woo!
Yes. Now, why I wanted you on was the other day, was that April 31st, right?
No, it was yesterday.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Today's May 1st that we're taping, so it was yesterday. We had 3 anti-gun bills in the Senate that passed out of the House. Kimberly, these are bad bills.
They're all very bad bills.
Yes.
And they take all kinds of rights away from law-abiding citizens. They criminalize law-abiding citizens, victimize people who are victims, and don't do anything to stop actual criminals. Not one of these bills will stop any criminal ever.
That's correct. And Kimberly, you know what really bothered me was I don't want to say ignorance of the lack of knowledge toward the bill, but the anti-gunners got up there and said that it was going to fix everything, and it's not.
No, and some of them were questioned and actually admitted, well, no, it's not going to stop mass shootings. Well, no, it's not going to stop this or that. Some of them actually admitted it.
Yes.
But they also admit that they just want to do something. They don't. They know that this won't work these bills won't work to stop keep bad people from behaving badly, but they want to do something because it just makes them feel better.
Well, I don't want them to feel better to take my rights away if it's not going to help anything.
Exactly. They are uninformed about firearms. They are uninformed about existing laws. They are uninformed about the actual legislation that they are trying to push. It's actually really sad, but what's worse is it's destructive to grant staters that these out-of-state gun control pieces of legislation are being pushed by our own New Hampshire representatives.
Yes, yes. It is. It's just sad. And I mean, the first bill was the background checks. That's not going to fix anything. The criminals will never do the backgrounds.
Right. No, they won't. They don't do them today. They're already in existence today. They keep talking about all the background checks that have failed, excuse me, since the Brady bill was in place. But a lot of those people, some of them were mistakes, and they don't even understand what a prohibited person means. There's people that shouldn't be losing their Second Amendment right that do, based on their state laws. If a misdemeanor, if the maximum sentence you can get for a misdemeanor is 1 year plus, even if you get just a slap on the wrist and that's it, or pay a fine, you still lose your Second Amendment rights based on what the maximum for that misdemeanor is, not based on what you actually did. And that's a nonviolent crime. Nonviolent has nothing to do with firearms, nothing to do with weapons or anything. So it's kind of disturbing that these people, they really just don't care about our rights. Plain and simple.
No, they don't.
Woman.
Well, but then the second bill was the wait-in period. It says 7 days, but it's really 9 days because they don't count, the weekends. And it could be up to 11, depending on a holiday. That's not going to save any suicides or anything, because if somebody's determined to kill themselves, they're just going to jump off the bridge or slice their wrist or whatever. This is not going to stop them.
No, it's not going to stop them. And I find it interesting. One of the people said, well, it takes 24 hours to contemplate whether or not they're considering. They said suicide isn't impulsive, that they actually consider it for like 24 hours or something. That's what I think the NAMI attorney said, when he also said that women who are abused, well, they can just wait to get a firearm.
Yes.
Who, once they want to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Because we've known women who have been abused. Well, that's been ongoing for a long time. Because women who are abused and who leave their abusers and want a firearm to protect themselves, they know when it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. That's, and it's ludicrous.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that were pretty shocked by what the NAMI attorney said yesterday about women who are fearful of being killed, being able to just wait and protect themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want them to. Well, I always say that group, they want victims because it feeds their system.
Right.
So if like through the Women's Defense League, I know many women that have been trained by you guys. And you train people to protect, the women to protect themselves and the children.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why the gun control crowd doesn't want women protecting themselves.
They don't.
They believe that we should just call the police, even though we have plenty of cases where women have used firearms to protect themselves and their children and save their own lives. They do not want that. They want women to be harmed. They don't want women protecting themselves. That's the bottom line with these people. Yeah. With Moms Demand, Everytown for gun safety, Democrat representatives in the House who are for this gun control, all down the line. They do not want women practicing our fundamental human right to self-defense and protecting ourselves and our children, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, they want the victims.
Right.
And then it'll build the police force because we need more police.
Well, it's interesting. Recently, Debra Altschiller, the horrifyingly ignorant, uninformed Bloomberg Muppet from Stratham, she said that, all the people that are for Second Amendment rights, she didn't say that. They all use the deaths of children. Her and Shannon Watts said it. They all use the death of children to fundraise and et cetera. I'm like, we're the ones who don't do that because it's disgusting. The first thing they do, the people on the gun control crowd, the first thing they do is dip their hands in the blood of dead children before the bodies are even identified, and push gun control and push to raise funds for their own organization. It's horrifyingly disgusting.
It is. Well, and look what that Watts, Bloomberg's girl, what she said about the pearls. And, and yesterday she tweeted out a picture with me and two other guys that had our pearls, which, I've explained to the viewers, in the past that I wear those pearls to support the Women's Defense League that train women to protect themselves and children.
Yep. And I'm wearing my pearls today.
That's right.
Shannon Watts knew the pearls was what they represented. So did Debra Altschiller. So did the Moms Demand people, women. They're not just women. There's men too, probably from Massachusetts. But so they all knew what they were represented, and they were told that, and they still lied about it. And you saw it yesterday. She tried pushing the lie again. It's like, you know what? Get over it, sweetheart. Everybody knows you were lying. The press doesn't care anymore. The media doesn't care. And they're, CCing Concord Monitor and other things. I'm like, Concord Monitor knows you're lying. We're from here. You're not.
Yeah. Yeah, but her minions will still believe her.
Oh, well, her minions will just retweet. Half of them are probably just bots or paid to retweet her. So they'll still, retweet, but no one in the press cares. And that's what she's trying.
Yeah.
Also, yesterday, I don't know if you noticed, I was live tweeting the entire day.
Yes.
I was live tweeting all of the gun control stuff, what the antis were saying, what everybody on the pro rights and especially women's rights side were saying. And as soon as they did the same thing the last time, when they see that we're out tweeting them or making sending our message across, then all of a sudden they come up with something that has nothing to do with it and is used to distract from what's really going on. I noticed
absolutely. Absolutely, that's what they do. Well, because they really have no, I'm trying to think of the word, anything to back up their stories. What they want in gun safety, as they call it. Because they know that it's all a lie.
Right. They don't want gun safety. And that's why when I testified yesterday, the last thing I said to the committee was, if you're for gun safety, you'll vote inexpedient to legislate on this bill.
Yes.
Because HB 109, House Bill 109, makes it so we can't provide training. Women and anybody can't get training without going through a background check and a lot of other work and money and time to get that. It would be practically impossible. It would probably be physically impossible to get it done, especially since we usually have classes of 25 women.
Yes. Yeah.
So can you imagine trying to get background checks? Go one place, get background checks on all of them, and then start our class at 8:30 like we usually do in the morning for the big full day basic pistol class. It's insanity.
Well, I know Governor Sununu said he's going to veto all of these anti-gun bills, and I'm pretty sure he's going to. But the last bill that we heard, and that's the only one I spoke on, was and I consider this the most dangerous one out of them all, which they're all dangerous. But it's the remove the guns out of the school. I told them, and they even admitted, they know teachers that are carrying, but they want to remove those guns. So leave them as sitting ducks. And like at the end of my speech, you were there, I said, if you vote for this, there's going to be a school shooting and there'll be dead children and teachers, and the blood of those dead teachers and children will be on your hands.
First of all, they don't think that'll happen. So, you know what I mean? They don't care. But the other thing about this bill, besides the fact that it leaves people who are trained disarmed, what about people, women who are protecting themselves? And I don't know if you heard the story I told, but I know women who have been abused and who have a real dire threat that they could be attacked by their former abuser, even though that person was in prison for years. They're out. They have to be unarmed when they bring their child to school.
Yep.
What about all the women in Manchester? All the moms, I see moms every day walking their kids to school. It's a great sight to see, but what if they're one of those women? We don't know. You don't ask people that.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that they're going to let school boards make the decision on who can be armed and not. So that's basically allowing school boards to make up gun control laws in school districts. They could be different in every school district. That's insanity.
Yeah. Well, you see, they didn't ask me, and I should have just said it, why the school boards association's against it. Because they don't want to take the liability, because they don't want to say, all right, you teacher, and you can carry, but the others can't. They don't want to be put in that position. It's not a good position to be in.
It would be a really bad position, not to mention the fact, you're right, the liability. Oh, we made the decision and we let these people carry, and then, but the next school district over didn't. It's insanity to even think about doing that.
Yes. And
if you remember, there was another bill that was, I think it was 101. That's the one that New Hampshire School Board came out against as well. Yes. That one was specifically laying out so school boards could just make any gun control laws they wanted. That one didn't even make it out of committee. Yeah. And now we have this other one that basically does the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
I brought that up. That's one of the things I brought up too during my testimony. It's like, okay, if you have 3 different kids, you could be a criminal in one place, a law-abiding citizen in the other. How does that even make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I am going to bring up this picture once we're done here with Skype. There's a lady that I have sitting at the to testify. She admits she's not from this country, in that she is mentally ill and went and tried to buy a gun. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, okay, she just admitted in front of the Senate that she's mentally ill. And she wants this, these anti-gun bills to pass to not allow her to buy a gun, which she still can buy one on the black market.
I never, in all the years I've seen testimony, I did see during the last hearings on some of these bills, there was another guy who was way out there too. They must be bringing him in from certain places, but that woman was basically saying, I'm unfit.
Yeah.
I'm admitting I'm mentally ill and I'm unfit to have a firearm. So I want you to put laws in place that will protect me from myself.
Yeah.
And who knows if she can even legally buy a firearm because she's from a different country. She never said if she was a U.S. citizen. And of course, the left isn't going to tell her, well, the law is you couldn't buy one.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most insane things I've ever seen. And she testified on all three bills. The woman was wearing a tiara. Folks, the woman was wearing a tiara.
Yeah.
I have tiaras, but I don't wear them when I go to testify before the House or the Senate.
Oh, it's crazy, Kimberly. But, so I want to thank you for coming on. I know the Senate's going to pass this, and we better hope that the governor's going to do his job.
Well, you never know, and I believe the governor will do the right thing as well.
I do too, yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Kimberly. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to have you on again.
Thanks for having me. Loving the new Skype.
Yes. All right, bye now. And
bye.
We'll be right back. I'm going to take a short break. Well, that was really exciting that this was our first Skype for the New Hampshire Politics with John Burt show. And I want to thank Kimberly Morin of the Women's Defense League. She did a great job, and we had a lot of setup time to get this to work. And I'm telling you, I'm just excited that GTV offers this, because this is just going to bring my show right out of the box. And and I know Fox and WMUR is probably shaking in their boots right now going, crap, what are we going to do? John Burt has Skype. And I think that's what's going to happen. And eventually this picture that I'm going to bring up right now is of that lady that Kimberly and I talked of. And eventually we're going to be able to bring that right into the Skype program. I mean, just the future of New Hampshire Politics with John Burt is I'm just beyond excited. And again, if you don't like what's being said on my show, I'll have you even on as a guest. We can debate politely back and forth, or you can come here to GTV and start your own show. All you got to do is show up with the time and do it. So this lady here, she was the one that we spoke of. That got on the stand, and she said that she was mentally ill. She shouldn't own a gun, and she went and tried to buy one. And she was from another country, and that really bothered me. I'm like, okay, so I know other people from other states, Massachusetts, Illinois, they come here and they try to take our guns, but now they're coming from other countries to take our guns. I just don't like that, But I do want to get on to the next topic, which was down in Chaplin, if I can say it right, South Carolina. And it's of the Monster drinks, or the energy. I guess there's Monster drink, Red Bull. I don't drink any of these, so I don't know what they are. I guess they're supposed to be loaded with caffeine. But what's the date? In 2017, it doesn't give the date, just 17. It's sad. This 16-year-old boy died in South Carolina, and they're blaming it on the energy drink. They said he had a big latte, however you say that, from McDonald's, an energy drink 2 hours later, and then, an energy drink, and a large Mountain Dew. He had all them drinks. And he's 16 years old, so he probably should know a little better, but he's drinking all that stuff. And 2 hours later, his heart went out of rhythm, and he died. And that's the sad part. But the comments on Facebook when this was posted, the majority of them were, where were the parents? Why aren't the parents teaching him not to do all this? It's not the school's fault. We can't blame the school for everything. And we can't blame, so they're going to ban anybody under 18 from having caffeine. And if you're caught given an energy drink, I guess it's just energy drinks is what they're picking on. If you give an energy drink to anybody under the age of 18, it's a $50 fine if this bill passes. And I'm just going, are you serious? We can't ban our way to save every kid. I mean, we just can't. We can't ban stuff. And and on the back it said, this bill did receive some resistance from health care professionals that believe lawmakers, which some of them, they don't do this, need to take a closer look at the science. It says fatal caffeine overdoses from energy drinks ingestion is impossible. This is what the toxicologist, if I can say that word right, and doctors, that's what they're saying. They said you can't die of this. They're saying that the kid had a pre-heart condition, the caffeine or whatever did, raised his heart level, but it was his heart that killed him. It wasn't the caffeine. So they're saying, don't ban it. Teach your kids not to do it. The other was, and the reason I'm bringing this up is it's July 6, 2015. It was up in Maine. A kid put a fireworks, what do they call it? I think it was one of those mortars. He puts it on his head. He's 22 years old at this. He lights it. The fireworks goes off, but kills him in the process. It says he was drinking all day, and this is up in Calais, Maine. I'm not sure how far that is up there. But the mother instantly said, we need to ban fireworks, or at least have safety classes for fireworks. Well, again, I go back, say, parents, I'm sorry if this sounds mean, don't be friends with your kids. Teach them right from wrong. We can't ban everything. We just can't. Now, I'm really excited about this next, a couple pictures is Walter Sword. He's a very dear friend of mine. He just, he used to be Sergeant of Arms. He worked at the State House for 18 years. He was the doorkeeper for 8 years and then Sergeant of Arms, the head guy that kept everything safe and happy and on the House floor. This is in the House chambers. He did a wonderful job. He would go up to people that were arguing back and forth and he goes, now can we calm down? And instantly everybody would calm down. Walter never had to raise his voice. He'd just come up and just tap you. That was how he did it. And he retired the other day, and this is one of the pictures. Now, what was really good was James Spillane, Representative Spillane. He did an excellent job. I take my hat off to him. He was the one that came up with this. He got a Marine sword and wrote a little plaque because Walter Sword is, his last name's Sword. So it was hilarious that James did this, Representative Spillane, and he got a sword for him, did a little plaque about his retirement, and also he's a Freemason as I am. And I mean, he did a great job to put all this together, and the governor came over and the speakers there. I mean, it was just a great time. Now, the next plaque that I have is right here. And it's from the American Conservative Union Foundation based out of Virginia. And it's 2018, and I got 100% conservative, through this group. We don't know what they're rating. All of a sudden, we just get a plaque or you don't. And 25 reps out of 400 got this plaque, and it was 6.25% of your state representatives in New Hampshire won the American Conservative Union Foundation Award for being a conservative, and I was one. So I'm very proud to have that. It's just incredible. I want to jump right to my chicken gazebo, as I call it. You'll see the first picture of the rafters. I accidentally made 2 extra rafters, and I said, well, I don't want to throw them away because, I'm cheap. I'm not going to throw it away. So I threw them up in there, so they're spaced out about 12 inches, these rafters. It's hilarious. People have seen this, that I painted it. I have a sprayer that I sprayed up in there. And the next picture is you can see my chickens there. And what I like about this is look at the metal roof, especially on the third picture. You'll see the straight line. Everybody, it came out perfect. It really did. You'll see a nice straight line of the metal. The metal came from Flanders Chicken Farm up in Ware, New Hampshire from the 1930s. They built this barn, or this chicken barn, in 1930, and the insurance company, the new owners, bought it a couple years ago, and the insurance company made them tear it down because it was just so disrepaired. And they saved the metal, and they're selling it on Facebook marketplace there, and I grabbed some of it. So I was really happy with that. And the next picture, you kind of see how they're lined up, with the chicken coop and the gazebos right behind it. And I'll have more on my chicken stuff later. Now, my last pictures are of Annie because I just love showing her off. I'm working on the chicken gazebo, as I call it. She goes over to the truck and she'll make a noise. I look over and I said, Annie, I'm not going, no. And then she runs back over and she sits right in front of me, and this is what she does. She sits right there going, please, can you bring me for a ride? That's all she wants to do. So I'll put her in the truck and we'll go for a little ride, and we'll come back and she's happy as can be. I mean, she's just, I'm telling you, she's just a joy to me. I'm very blessed to have her, and like I always say, I'm blessed to have my wife. But, again, I'm excited for this show, and I can't wait for our next shows when we do a lot more Skyping, and as we learn this process, it's going to be great. And until next week, have a good week. Bye now.